Yo, 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 it's your boy, High Five Vega, joined as always by the man who never sleeps, the guy who never just stays at home. Some people call him the traveling car audio evangelist. His name is Dean Bayette from Five Star Car Stereo. What's up, Dean?
Oh God, that was bad.
Boost it in post. Boost it in post.
That crusty old Dean. Yes, I'm right here. Oh wow. No, I'm doing good, man. I'm doing good. It's I'm just glad to be home. I'm not lying. It's just like we were so ready to just time to be home. You know,
Right.
these back to back trips like this with only a short time between them really isn't as it's fun, but it's kind of taxing. You know, it's hard.
Yeah.
You
Yeah,
know,
you don't get to regenerate. And it looks like you've been taken over by the Borg, by your shirt.
Yeah. So funny story about this shirt. I won't tell you how funny. Okay, so small part of the bigger story because I don't want to tell you the rest of it. But so they're handing out shirts, and I go, let me get a large, and they're like, they had a training. This is the Max Tune on the back, the tool, and the guy goes, wait a minute, were you in the training? And I go, no, just give me a shirt. And the guy goes, and he goes, well, all right, well. Just kind of looks at me and he's like, well, what do you know about the Max Tune? I said, I know it cost me $4,000. So, and he goes, okay. So he gives me the shirt. And then he goes, wait a minute. Aren't you Dean? And I was like, yeah. Hi, how you doing? Nice to meet you. He's like, oh shit.
I thought you hated us.
No, dude. As it turns out, everybody at JL Audio knows who we are, but they choose not to talk to us because we're not a dealer. Which is what I've been saying all along.
So they hate you.
No, they love us. But no, they love us. But it's it's one of those. I don't want to get into it, but needless to say, we're cool.
Man, Scott hit us with some evil right off the jump.
Listen, in the warehouse, finishing up slanging woofers for the day, dude. He's killing it with the. He's just a worker, man. Like
he is. Like he's been a Snap-on hustler. He just transited it to audio.
Yeah. But I mean, he still has the Snap-on thing, right?
Yeah, but he's got another guy that I think runs it kind of day to day for him. But
yeah.
He's still young, man. He's got it in him. He...
Good God bless him, because man, I tell you what, I'm tired. I mean, so I got home today. And I pulled in the garage and I literally fell asleep in my car for like 20 minutes because the girls aren't home. And I was just really tired. Like driving home, I was kind of falling asleep. And I was like, oh, this isn't good. And so I pull in the driveway and I literally 20 minutes. And I was like, oh, well, that was weird. And then I was like,
you blacked out.
I totally blacked out. And then the girls, I asked, because Sue didn't do any grocery shopping for me this week because I guess she doesn't love me. And so I called her and said, did you go to the store today? And she's like, no, sorry. I was like, oh, don't worry about it. So then I had to run to the grocery store real quick because I didn't have any food today. So, yeah. So
it's been one of those.
One of those days.
She didn't know you still live there. So, I mean, technically, because it's not on her.
No, and that you're right. You're 100% right. I mean, there's no question about it. I mean, what were we back for a week and a half? And during that week and a half, like the one weekend I was here, we were gone anyways. So
right.
I mean, I haven't been here for a full week in 3 weeks. 3 weeks? 4 weeks. Either way, I haven't physically been in the house. I mean, it's not a complaint. I'm not complaining. It's just observational statement. It was a lot of work. We had a ton of fun. I wouldn't change anything for the world because it was cool. And then so we have the rest of this month to just chill until till the 6th and 7th of next month. We'll be at the Go Fast Solutions training that is open to anybody in the 12-volt professional community, meaning if you work on cars, boats, SUVs, motorcycles, anything that has a 12-volt battery in it as a professional, you can sign up and come. It's not open to the public, but it is open to professionals in that genre of 12 volt. And then, so that's middle of April, or first part of April. And then at the end of April was like the 26th or something like that. As long as war doesn't break out across Europe,
Right.
I'll be in Austria at the EMA World Finals, thanks to Ground Zero and HKI.
Austria.
Austria.
Dude.
You know who else is going? I found out.
Who?
Wayne Harris.
Oh, really? Wow.
Yeah. I got like 5 minutes to talk to him on Sunday, and because we want to. Everyone's like, dude, you guys need to hook up. You guys need to hook up. I was like, yeah, I know.
Yeah.
And so, I was talking with his wife, which you guys have had the pleasure of interviewing.
Right.
Just a sweetheart of a lady.
Oh, she is.
So we were kind of thinking of things that we could do with Wayne. And I, of course, my mind doing what it does, I came up with some really cool ideas like on the fly. And I'm like, dude, I'm like half asleep, but here's some neat stuff I'm thinking about. And because he's starting to get back into trainings and, selling his product. And like he taught at Mobile Tech Master Tech Expo. He was in the same track I was in. So I think he taught like the class before us.
Yeah.
About like modern box building or something like that. And so that was really cool. And then he had another class that he taught with another gentleman that was apparently like, I can't think of the guy's name, but was like a rock star of car audio altogether, that like one of those genius guys from back in the 90s.
Like Mark Fukuda?
No, not Fukuda. No, this was another guy
yeah,
this was another dude. Some dude, somebody's grandfather. I don't remember what his name was.
There's a ton, man. There's so many people from the old magazines. It's hard to remember all of
them.
Oh,
yeah. And a lot of them showed up because they're all friends with Brian. So,
yeah.
Like, Fukuda was cool because, like, there again, Fukuda and Fernando hit it off, man. Like, he's like, Fernando! And he's like, hey, why are you talking to me? But no, they hit it off like a champ. And then Wednesday, he brought his daughter with him. He's got a little tiny daughter. And, of course, I was saying goodbye or saying, I finally had like 20 minutes to talk to Brian Mitchell, and I was over there petting Chewy, and his daughter came over. And so Fukuda's daughter and I just sat there and played with Chewy for like, 10 minutes while Bill Jackson, from the president of Rockford, and Brian were up on the stage doing like the closing keynote, and Fukuda was getting ready to go up there after that. And so I just sat there and played with the dog and the daughter, and we all had a good time because he was like, she's like, does he do paws? I'm like, Brian? He goes, he does knuckles. And so we were,
Of course he does. Of course he can't just do like a regular dog.
Yeah. So it was really fun. We had a good time with that, but I don't even know where that story was headed. I will say this. We started out the trip with pizza. So when we got there, Kenwood...
I watched it.
Yes, that one. Fernando was eating the pizza, and that was fabulous pizza. Dude, that was the first thing we'd eaten all day. And then we ended the trip last night in New Orleans in the airport. The only place that was open for like the last, this 20-minute window was this pizza place. So we got some coal-fired pizza. And I was like, wow, this is like the weirdest thing ever. We began the trip with pizza, and we end the trip with pizza. This will forever...
And Haley wasn't even there.
No, and this will forever be the pizza show, But, dude, I tell you, it was, because this was open to anybody that was willing to pay the money to be there.
Right.
And there was guys that came.
Yeah.
Like, there was dudes that made the trip that were like, yeah, man, you said it was open. And I was like, I can go learn and meet Dean Fernando? Hell yeah, I'm in. I was like, that's freaking cool.
I've seen a bunch of people on my friends list that made it up there.
Yeah.
And Nando was... I think it was Mike Schultz took a picture with Wayne Harris. Mm-hmm. And if you zoom in the background, Nando's just kicking it. You can see him way in the background talking to somebody else.
Oh, yeah. Well, so we had to work the Kenwood booth.
Yeah.
So I was like, listen, I can handle the booth. I need you to go out there and film some stuff, kiss some babies, do all those things that, that we need to do. Because he has way more fun with it than I do. So, and don't get me wrong, I enjoy it. Yeah. I just, when I'm there to work, I'm there to work. So I stayed at the booth and took care of all that responsibility of making sure that the topic and just, we talked to a ton of people, man. Oh my God. And that first day on Monday, they had their PA system turned up way too high. So, I mean, I was just yelling at the top of my lungs. And I'm like, this is stupid. So for Tuesday, I went to Brian and he goes, how's it going? I said, it's going great. But if you don't turn down that PA system, I'm going to go beat that guy with the microphone. Which is funny because the guy with the microphone is a friend of mine, and he's like 6'2". He's like your size, and he's the nicest guy in the world. And he came over and he's like, Dean, how's it going? I'm going great. I said, but if you don't back that microphone down a little bit, you're like, maybe talk, like bring it down here and talk. Cause he's like up in the, hey, what's going on, everyone? And I'm just like, oh my God, dude, it was crazy. It was crazy. Expo was awesome. Learned a lot. Yeah. See, that's what I'm saying. There's a lot of guys there. Hopefully if you were there, you came by and said hi. And if you did, and I don't remember, I'm sorry, because I met so many people, so many awesome people, and it was so cool. It was so cool. And then one night we got to go out. Casey and Natasha from Morel, everyone knows Natasha. Right. They were like, "Hey, we want to have you guys over to the house with a couple guys, and have some dinner." I was like, yeah, "Of course it's yes." I mean, it's like, yeah. So it was us, Junior and his dad Javier from Audio Systems, which is some of you guys may know them. Used to have a guy named Anthony, like Anthony's Car Stereo Life. Used to be a YouTube channel. So he worked at Audio Systems. He doesn't work there anymore, but all the guys that were featured in that, Junior from that. So those guys out in California, they were there, and we met them in California back in 2019, and with Anthony when Anthony still worked there, and they were like the coolest guys ever. His dad is really cool. Junior's like an awesome fabricator. Like, this guy is just talent forever. Yeah. And then we got to see him in Vegas, and they agreed to build. There's a guy that works there named Yakdil. He just goes by Jack because the other name's way too hard. They agreed to build a Morel system in his car. So so when Junior got back from Vegas, he got COVID.
Oh no.
So he was out for a week, and then he literally had to build this car in like 4 or 5 days, and he just knocked it out of the park, man. I was like, I mean, I don't know why it took you 4 or 5 days. I mean, I was giving him shit. I'm like, I mean, this is kind of weak. And he's like, really? I'm like, come on, I'm fucking with you, man. So did I miss Dean's nightly salad? I didn't have a salad tonight. I didn't have time. I was really kind of disappointed because I wasn't here to buy the ingredients when I normally go shopping. So tonight I had to have macaroni and cheese. Really not what I was hoping for.
Back to college student.
Yeah, it really sucked. It was really bad. I was like, oh. And then there's this other, and then the other person that joined us with this was a gentleman named Frankie, who is. He's a sales rep for manufacturers out of New York, and his company's 12 Volt Marketing Group. So every now and then on Instagram, if people are chiming in and they ask, hey, do we know anybody in New York? We always say, go to the 12 Volt Marketing Group Instagram page and ask him, because that's his territory. And he's also, I've known the guy for a while. He's also friends with Artie, which is a friend of mine, my sales guy at Amp. And so I've known Frankie for a while. He's a really cool dude. He's an Asian guy that's like maybe the same height as Fernando, but this guy is so cheesy noodle salad. Oh, that sounds so bad. Hope you made mac and cheese with milk.
Good one. That's a callback.
I'm not gonna lie. I bought it at the store already made. I just pulled the top off and popped it in the microwave. I didn't have that kind of time. But anyways, Frankie was there. So we had this great. We had we had like tacos or something. It was fabulous. We just sat there and talked shit till about midnight. And then when we got back, we walk out into the lobby, and there's a lobby bar. But the whole lobby was empty. This lobby has been packed every night, and there was nobody in the. I'm like, okay, this isn't right. There was the only restaurant next to this hotel was a bar across the street. Like, you couldn't find a worse place to put a convention for like going outside of the bar, or outside of the hotel, because there's nothing around for miles. Yeah. So we walk outside and we start walking towards the bar, and Fernando goes, "Yeah, that's where they're at." And I go, "Why?" He goes, "You can't hear Chris?" And I'm like, "No." And he goes, "Wait, yep, that." You could hear Chris Bennett. He was talking so loud outside. I was like, "Oh yeah, that's definitely Chris." Yeah. Oh, it was
That's
hilarious.
funny. That's
But
funny.
yeah, I mean, this was definitely the event, man. There's no doubt about it. This is definitely the event. It was, and next year will be even crazier now that we've done it once.
Yeah.
You know, this, and we know, like, now that the one in the can, and those guys busted their ass, man. I mean, these guys worked their ass off. So we just had to show up and do our class. So I mean, we had nothing in this. But the guys, like, you know, you know, all the guys were involved with it. You know, I'm not even going names because I'll forget somebody and that'll just be wrong. They worked their asses off, and it was awesome.
So it's kind of like the topic of the show, if you didn't see,
Nope,
is let's talk about car audio shows and conventions. So
okay,
we're on topic.
Yeah.
But this show, is it like basically kind of like a knowledge fest that anybody can go to if they pay?
Yeah. So because Knowledge Fest. So Knowledge Fest you can't go to unless you're in the industry. Like, you have to work at a place. They background check you. Knowledge Fest actually is supposed to cost $150.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, but you can get it waived by registering under a manufacturer that gives you a promo code. So the idea is that, let's say we'll use Audio Control as an example. So if you sell Audio Control, and you're on their Facebook page, Audio Control puts out, they'll say, "Hey, here's the code you need to get in for free." So, you know, you fill out all the forms. They do the background check on you to make sure you're a real installer and all that other fun stuff, or a real store owner. And then I'll tell you my David Can Dig It story in a minute, Bobby. Hold on, it's fun. There is one, naturally, right? So with that, Knowledge Fest is good because, you know, they bring in, everyone just brings in industry people, except for like when you're talking about like accounting and marketing. Knowledge Fest brings in a couple guys, like they bring in a banker guy that's friends with them, that teaches you about money management and stuff like that. And then they bring in another guy that talks about at this Knowledge Fest, he did a 3-part class, 1 part every day. So it was like a 3.5-hour class on just managing your business. All facets of it. So there's a bunch of, there's professionals there, and then they try to get, they try to have classes taught by people that know what the hell they're talking about. So then there's that. The show floor, the show floor at Knowledge Fest is usually, because it's all industry, there's business that can be conducted there, meaning you can make new clients, sign up new dealers, and do things like that. Whereas at Brian's show, there was no business to be had on the floor because it was open to all types of people. So it wasn't just 12-volt people. It was 12-volt people. It was upholstery guys. It was body shop guys. It was restoration guys. It was consumers, hobbyists. So it was this eclectic group of everything. So he just didn't want on the floor was supposed to be tech. So the idea was to talk about tech and help people think about things that they want to know. So like, if you're like, for example, there was a lot of these upholstery guys and restoration guys that were in the classes we were in. Like Andy and I taught 12-volt from 30,000 feet. So it was just like, okay, here's what 12-volt is. And for some of you, you're going to know this. You're already going to know this. And maybe you'll get a hint of something you don't know. But for everybody else, this might help you. You okay?
Yeah.
Allergies,
I might die. Yeah, I know. They're killing me.
For everybody else, you might learn something today. And so Andy had his part, which was like speakers and amps. Well, yeah, your eyes just like,
I know, man.
Hating life. You need to go get in a leave?
No, I'll be good. I'll make it. I'll take one after.
You'll struggle through.
Mhm.
So Andy's part was speakers and subs, and then one day he did DSP, and then because we had to teach the same class twice, so one day he did DSP, and then the second day I did DSP,
Yeah.
and that was a little different. Like he had his take on DSP, and I had my take on DSP, because in his class, the first day we did it, like there wasn't a lot of people that had worked with DSP, and then in my class there was a lot of people that had worked with DSP. So we asked how many people have worked with DSP or know anything about DSP. When is I had COVID.
Don't you put that evil on me, Ricky Bobby.
Yeah, no shit. Yeah. Every time you say Andy. Sorry, Andy.
Andrew.
Different Andy. Andy Waymeyer. Let me clarify. For those of you who don't know the Andy I'm talking about. It's Andy Waymeyer, the owner of Audio Frog. Ribbit. So we had a great time teaching the class. It was a lot of fun. But it was funny because everyone there was like, we're all savvy. We know DSP, we have DSP. And so I kind of went off script a little bit, and I asked the question that, okay, so how many of you guys, and this might hold true for everybody here. So the purpose of a DSP is to make 2-seat audio, right? Or is to make 1-seat audio to make it sound like an accurate representation of a right monitor, a left monitor, and the body between it.
Right.
Okay, that's the goal, right?
Right.
How many of you guys have actually sat between two speakers and listened to music before?
Very few people. I use
Very
headphones.
few people. Right. So the point is, I was like, well, okay, so if you're trying to tune something, and this isn't my idea by any stretch of the imagination. Gary Bell was talking about how he had a set of, in one of the podcasts, he had a set of monitors, and if he ever runs into a problem in a car, he'll just hop out of the car, play the audio, sit between the two monitors, and listen to it in a controlled environment. That way he can go back into the car and start making adjustments to try to get it to sound the way it's supposed to. And I asked these guys, I'm like, here you guys are trying to tune a car to the best of your ability, but yet you have no idea what it's supposed to sound like because you've never actually heard 2-channel audio done in an environment to which you're trying to replicate.
Right.
And like when I said, how many guys have this? And like 3 guys in the class, I'm like, what are the rest of you guys doing? You have $30,000 Snap-on toolboxes, but you don't have a $100 or $200 or $300 pair of monitors in the install bay that you can play some music through and sit between and just kind of listen.
They got the Grados, man. They just put the Grados on, call it good.
No, these things suck for that. I mean, headphones aren't the worst thing you could listen to, but they're not going to replicate a giant environment of sound. I mean, I have some awesome headphones, but in which case you really need some open backs to give you the airy feeling of that. But no, It's not. It's pretty rough. Was it a benefit of cross-platform audio, Dean? I have accumulated decades of multifaceted experience. And there again, 100%. I mean, I have great 2-channel audio here. But sometimes you need that. We can't always remember everything. And sometimes we need to go back and just kind of like listen to something and see how it's recorded, because you get in a car and it's like maybe the singer's left or right of where you think they should be. And if you can play it in a controlled environment, you're like, no, that's right. Shit.
People they get, especially in competition, they get like super tied up in that. And me, like if it's close enough, as long as the tonality's right, like I'm good. As long as the tonality's good. But I know, like, obviously you're not going to spend $50,000 in the system and be like, yeah, that's close enough.
No. You don't need,
if you spend that kind of money.
Just get a nice set of amplified monitors, for God's sakes. It's not like it's not like you got to spend thousands of dollars. I mean, you can get some reasonably priced monitors out there. The funny thing was it was great because somebody asked the upfront bass question. And so he starts describing the process, and Andy just immediately yells from the corner, "No!" And I was like, okay. And so then he talks for a little bit, and I said, listen, if the car has a volume knob, subwoofer level control, upfront bass doesn't matter, because you have to have, it has to be fixed with the rest of the system. If it you do this, it's over.
Right.
So you'd have to like sit there and tune it back to hear it. I said, most people don't want that. I said, listen, man, the thing you always have to ask yourself when tuning a system, when you get done, or when you're trying to get done, or when you get stuck in the weeds, or when they're all 60 miles an hour down the highway.
Right.
Okay. Just remember that. All right. Because everybody wants to go fast, and it's, all right. So.
Well, yeah. If the upfront bass, the only thing that the upfront bass offers me is you can take it easier on your mid bass, because you can get them up playing up higher, and you don't have to focus.
Yeah,
so
but
much
your
on
mid bass is going to do what it does, regardless of where your subwoofer is at.
Well,
so, I mean,
if you play your subwoofer higher though, and it's right up there,
you're literally have the same amount of mid bass. It doesn't change. It's all going to be there. I mean, to do really good upfront bass, it's a balance between the amount of volume coming from your mid bass. It has to match up with the subwoofer. Nobody wants that.
Yeah.
So once you crank that subwoofer up, the mid bass stays the same. It's just everything else is just washed out. So it's along with the mid bass. So because it's just,
upfront subwoofer to me means like not. I'm talking like some Illusion audio, not actual real subwoofers.
Oh no,
sorry, Illusion audio, but we've heard those subs.
No, but there again, but that's what everyone is when you're talking about upfront bass. It's talking about making the sub in the back sound like it's coming from the front.
Yeah,
and it's like great. Yeah, but you can there's only so much of it you can get, because there again, the whole idea is it has to couple with the mid bass in the door. So if the mid bass in the door isn't spectacular, then you're not going to get a ton of upfront bass, because they have to be able to blend together. So you can't take two 12s and a pair of 6.5s and think you're going to get the volume and have it sound like it's coming from the front. You're always going to be disappointed. So you're going to crank that volume knob and go woof, and it's like, bass is up front now, and in the back and in the side and in your hair, and it's everywhere.
Yeah. Well, it's kind of a fallacy that people believe anyways, that you can have a 150 decibel system and like a true sound quality system. And it's just, once the bass gets up, I would even say like 140 is, even 135, you're reaching like the peak limit of what's still, in my experience anyways, that I've heard of what still is like a sound quality type setup.
The first time I was sitting there listening to Nick's truck back when he had it, he goes, and people say my system doesn't get loud. Listen to this. That's 120 decibels right there. And I'm going,
I know. I do. I give my buddy crap for that all the time. He's like, "Oh, dude, I can do
loud." I can do loud with 120. No, you can't. 120 decibels. I can do that with the windows down. I mean, come on.
Right.
Yeah.
But I have heard 150 decibel systems that sound good, but it's not like what I'm thinking when I think of like a SQ setup.
Right.
But it can sound good. The tonality can be good, but it's different. It's not the same as, like, if you haven't heard a real SQ system, you might not know.
Yeah. But to wrap that up, I feel like, everyone should have something that they can listen to at home.
Right.
Something good, just as a baseline. But back to the topic at hand. Yeah.
Did Alpine pay you to say that?
No. So I mean, comparing like this, so the comparing it to a knowledge fest has kind of been the question we've been dealing with all day.
Yeah.
And it's not anything I'm prepared to do. Just because we've had 25 years of knowledge fest, and we've literally done one Master Tech Expo.
What sounds like a legit, it's aptly named Expo, because what you described to me is an Expo versus Knowledge Fest, which is more of an industry type thing.
Yeah. So the difference between, so it's easy to talk about the differences between like a Knowledge Fest and an Expo. And the reason, I mean, this was 100% knowledge based. I feel this was more knowledge based than Knowledge Fest, because how it worked is there was 4 tracks that you had to choose from. So we'll just call them by their colors. There was a yellow, a blue, a green, and a red, and each one of those meant something. And you could choose 2 tracks. And every day each one of the tracks, each one of the 4 tracks, there was 4 classes associated with that track.
Yeah.
So in the morning at 7:20 in the morning, that means you're getting up at 6 o'clock.
Yep.
So every morning you got up at 6 o'clock. So you go to your first class and you paid for this. So people were there. There wasn't anybody missing out on these classes because there's $800 associated with this. You're not sleeping in. And if you are, you're a fool because you paid to be there. So, you'd go to your corresponding class. So on the first day, I think we had yellow. I had a gray pass, which I found out meant I could go anywhere I wanted for a class. But because you couldn't really take a track because you had to teach.
Yeah.
So you were going to miss something. So if you wanted to, you could try to whatever. So that was really neat. So like on a Knowledge Fest, they don't really do that. They just put out a list of shit and you have to decide your own thing. There is tracks. So like they try to say this is part of owner, this is part of installer, this is part of marketing.
Yeah.
But they don't really do a good job of visually breaking it apart. Whereas they knew this because they've seen it. So they wanted to make sure that, and of course we were all confused because we're like, so you had bracelets and it had a day stamped on it. So it would tell you need to, today is Monday. You need to be in the blue class. And there were still people going, I don't understand. So, which was kind of sad. But, and then the next day you'd go to the next band, which would tell you this. So that was
so you get to see all of it, but just different days.
Yeah. So if you're signed up for, let's say, the blue and the red course, you'll see all of the red stuff on one day and you'll see all of the blue stuff on the other day. So they made it so that, the courses were taught 2 days in a row. So I had to do my class with Andy both on Monday and Tuesday. And, so which was so basically they both got, you get the same class. Ours was a little bit different because on Monday he did the DSP side of things. And on Tuesday I did the DSP side of things. Yeah. And the topics we talked about, we changed up a little bit just because of the room, like who was in the room. On Monday, there was definitely way more like people not in industry. So we taught things a little bit differently than we did on Tuesday, where there was there was more industry people in the room and less, there's only like 2 upholstery guys in there and that was it. Yeah. And so for those guys, I tried to answer as much as I could, but not to bring the rest of the class down. So I just told the guys, hey, listen, this is just to keep it moving along. Just come see me at the Kenwood booth, and I can spend some time with you and answer those questions.
Yeah, so, we're not doing No Child Left Behind here. We will leave you behind, but we'll catch you back up later.
But we don't want to. Yes, exactly. So we'll help you in the homework room. Dean forgot. I know I didn't forget it. That was my next story. I just wanted to go back and kind of,
sum it up.
So the question that is always asked is which one should I go to, and I can't answer that one yet because it depends on what you're expecting. So the other thing too is, so you had those 4 courses, and so those took you to the end of the day. Okay, so not the end of the day. That took you to like 6 something. At 7 o'clock, the vendor training started. So the vendor trainings were for an hour and a half. So those were from 7 to 8:30. And those were packed too, because these weren't just basic vendor trainings. These were like full on, like I said, we were with Kenwood. So that class was broken into 3 half-hour periods, because they have 2 trainers. So one of the trainers talked about the new motorsport amplifiers. The other one talked about their new motorsport camera system that they have, this DVR camera system. And then I got a half hour to talk about the front stage upgrade and how to use Kenwood products to achieve this. Which then was reinforced by the displays we made that were out on the tables. So for people that didn't, so a lot of talking about that while we were there. Yeah. All right. So your day started at 7:20 in the morning and ended at 8:30 for classes. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's a really long fucking day.
For classes.
Okay.
That's not even
no, that's not like going out, doing breakfast, going out, getting dinner. No, it's just a really long day.
wow.
But in there again, you paid for this.
Right.
So you're on board. And yeah, there wasn't as many people hanging out late as there is at a Knowledge Fest because you got to get up at 6 a.m. Dean, how was the Mazda demo with Javier Jr. and Yaktil? Seen you and Nando give Jack praise for the tune. Listen, they had like 5 days to build that thing. To build, like, if I had 5 days to do that, it wouldn't have gotten done. Hands down. Junior is an animal. There's no question about it. That guy is crazy. It was all brand new equipment, so it had no time to break in. But it still sounded fabulous. Yak Deal is a competition guy,
right.
so he kind of tuned it a little too competition for me, for my taste. I would have. I don't like tuning that style.
Right.
But I understand it, so I can sit in it and judge it accordingly. And he did a freaking awesome job with it. Like it was really, dude, they had it dialed in. I was impressed. You know,
and that was like, all Kenwood equipment?
It was all Morel.
All Morel. Okay.
So it was all Morel. It was all Morel speakers. It was basically they had the Elite Carbon 3-way set.
Yeah.
In there, and they managed to shoehorn it all in. I was like, wow, man, good job.
Wow.
You know, and it's not finished. Like they had to rush on certain things, like the 8 pillars. He needs to go back and recover those and stuff like that. So, but you know, he only had, but no, it was really good. They did a fabulous job. Yakdil or Jack, as you know, white people call him.
Yeah.
He hasn't been doing this that long, and he's that good. In another couple years, he's gonna be like, if he keeps with it, it's gonna be impressive as hell. What that guy can knock out a car. So yeah, he's definitely gonna be a force to be reckoned with if he stays in the industry doing stuff like that. Because he's really good. He understands the idea. I think probably where he'll need to spend more time is learning to dial it back some. You know. Because that's the problem that and that was the conversation I had, is a lot of these guys get in the car and they tune it, and they don't tune it for the customer. And it's like, you have to find out what the customer wants and tune accordingly. You know, if you're just trying, like, not everybody wants a softball size center channel, you know?
Yeah.
Some people want a watermelon.
Yeah. I mean, sometimes it can get distracting too, depending and competition tunes are way different.
Yes.
Nowadays than I remember them back in the 90s. It was more subtle back then. Now I would say it's kind of aggressive now compared to what I remember it.
Yeah, definitely. But I mean, the problem you run into is that when you make it too focused on the center, you know, what happens is it starts to sound like an AM radio a little bit.
Yeah.
You know, because the people I paid for these, but I can't hear them. I can hear a speaker that I didn't pay for in the center of the dash making a lot of the sound. Right. And it's like, yeah, okay, good point. So some people just aren't set up for that. Other people are. Other people want that. You know, they want the effect to sound like it's coming from left. So anyways, that goes down a whole different rabbit hole. That it's just like, 65 watching, 23 likes. Hit that like button. Thanks, Dave. Yeah, definitely. All right, so my Ken Diggett story, because all right.
Wait, so who's Ken Diggett?
Dave Ken Diggett from the TV show on Overhaul. Not Overhaul. Hold on, Jesus.
Like Unique Whips or something?
What's that?
Unique Whips?
No. It's come on, guys. You know what show he's on. Remind me.
West Coast Customs?
Stop. I'm
just saying them all.
I know. No, it's not. It's a cool show.
Yeah.
All right, it'll pop up here. Come on.
I don't know that I've seen a Bitch and Rides.
Bitch and Rides. Thank you. Okay. Thank you. Bitch and Rides. He's the guy with the goatee, like that, the straight goatee.
I don't know. I never watch it. I've never watched it, not once.
Should we just smack them now, guys? I mean,
Yeah.
it's really a cool show.
Dude, I watch so many car focused TV shows, but I haven't seen that.
Yeah, but Bitch and Ride's been it's been out forever.
Does it have Stacey David on it?
That's overhauling. Who gives a shit? That show sucks.
No, that's not overhauling. Stacey David was on Trucks, and then
who cares? There you go. No, these guys do awesome work, man. It's not a normal car show. Like it's pretty cool. Anyway, so I walk into the bar area, and where were we coming from? What night was that? Oh, so it was Monday night. I walk into Monday night. The two Kenwood trainers, and I and Matthew Palumbo from Audio Control, and his buddy Jason, and these two other guys that were because we couldn't do audio control, they brought in someone else to kind of fill the void there. Yeah. And then so it was, and he brought with them these other two guys that he was friends with. So there was like 7 of us. We all went out to this restaurant. Food sucked. They loved it. I thought it was terrible. Had some dinner. We almost died in the Uber ride there because this guy thought he was an F1 driver in his Kia or his Hyundai piece of shit. Had no suspension on it. I'm sure it was slammed to the ground, but it was Josh and Marcus are the Kenwood trainers, and Marcus and I were sitting in the front seat, and Josh was we were sitting in the back seat. Josh was in the front seat. Josh was talking to him about the music he was listening to. And, of course, they immediately became friends. I think Josh was just doing it to stay alive. And Marcus and I were in the back seat, and he was telling me the history of the world, or his world. And at some point, we finally realized we were going to die as we're doing this across 5 lanes of traffic on some weird, Phoenix highway going, oh, geez. I'm like, where the fuck are we going? So that was terrible. Anyways, we got back from that alive. And I walk into the bar, and a friend of mine, this guy named Doug Dobson, who has been on the show before when we did the 12 Days of Christmas. At the time, he was working for MSC America, and he was the one that was on the show that was with us when we gave away the big Helix package.
Right.
So I walk up to talk to Doug because he's standing there and he's giving me the eye. So I walk up, and at the corner of the bar is Dave, and Dave is talking to Fred, and Fred has the Ford Flex that we're getting ready to review. He is Brian's partner.
Yeah.
And then across from him is Chris Pate, the owner of MTI.
Right.
The winner of All Cool Things because he has that awesome both car stereo center seat Civic
car,
as well as his pickup truck that he just wins all kinds of amazing awards with. So they were all kind of, and then some other people that I had just met there, some upholstery guy. And so they're all talking. Fred is doing most of the talking. So I walk up and I'm like, hey, Doug, what's going on? And we're talking and shooting the shit. And at some point there was a break. And Dave kind of looks at me and I said, oh, hey, hi, I'm Dean. He goes, I'm Dave Can Dig It. I go, man, you look really familiar. Like, I feel like I should know you from somewhere. Yeah. And he totally fell for it. He goes, yeah, I do a TV show on Discovery Channel called Overhauling. And I go, no, I don't think that's it. and like the conversation quickly changed from there. And so that was everyone kind of got a laugh and we moved on. Yeah. And then later that night I went to him and I because we were all still at the same spot, and he's like, man, I got to go to bed. And I was like, hey man, it was a pleasure meeting you. I just want to let you know I know who you are, and I do like watching your TV show. I was just giving you a hard time. And I told him, I said, there's this episode where they restore this this giant GM Strato, I don't know what the hell it is. Yeah. This front one seat, just awesome show where he goes, oh yeah, that was this one, dude. That was like the first season. Yeah, we worked on that for 30 months and they cut it down to 45 minutes. That was awesome. And I go, yeah, that sounds about right. But yeah, so
see, it would have been genuine. I wouldn't have known him at all. See, when we go somewhere where there's going to be important people, like whether I'm with Derek, like Derek, if I should know this person, give me the nudge. Like, give me the nudge because I probably don't know who they are.
Yeah, I didn't mean overhauling. I meant the other one.
Yeah,
Bitch and rides. I meant bitch and rides, not overhauling.
Right.
Sorry. So I don't mean hurt anybody's feelings with this. So I meant bitch and rides. I just, come on.
William's highly upset, man.
I know, William. You know I love you, bro.
I know William's
but
the man.
That was, I had some fun with Dave. It was a good time. I think Fernando got a picture with him. I'm not sure. But yeah, it was cool. He was a pretty cool guy. Because we're literally just sitting at the end of the bar, and we're all just shooting the shit and having a good time, just talking it up.
Yeah.
And there was one. It was, oh god. So there's Texas Metal is cool. I like that one too. I do watch that one as well. Seems like all of them are from Texas. So there's this. I'm sitting at the bar, and dude, the most like one of the most uncomfortable things is when like somebody that knows who you are and is a fan goes to somebody else and goes, "You don't know Dean? Like Dean? You don't know Dean and Fernando from Five Star? How do you not know these guys?" And you're just like, "It's okay. It's like legit. It's okay. It's not a big deal, man. It's a pleasure to meet you. Hi, how you doing? Because then they got to go, what is it? Why? What do you do?" And then you start talking to them, and then they go, "Wait a minute. Oh yeah, I know who you are." And I'm like, "I've watched your show. Yeah, I remember. Yeah." And you're like, "Yeah, it's okay.
It's no big deal.
It's no big deal. It's like I'm nobody. I'm just a dude. Just a dude."
I've had that happen actually, and I was like, "Yeah, man. Like, dude, you shouldn't know who I am. Don't worry about it. It's no problem."
Well, and that was so when we were at the bar and there was the drunk people that we were all hanging out with. They're like going to the waitress, "Bro, like he's famous," and I'm like, "Dude, they're drunk. I'm not famous." She's like, "Well, who are you?" I was like, "I'm legit nobody. They're just all drunk and they're having fun." They're like, "No, don't listen to him.
Yeah,
don't listen to him.
Yeah,
everybody here knows who he is."
Yeah. Oh, it's like, dude, especially like, oh, I got a YouTube channel or whatever, and they think automatically like, oh, you got like 10 million subscribers at least minimum. Like, oh no, this is a whole different world, dude.
Future Liner, thank you, Bobby. That was the one. The Future Liner was the shit. That was an awesome show. Only 2000, sure, yeah. But yeah,
I had a poll up for this week.
Let's go. Let's see the poll.
So this is kind of I've done a little bit of both, but most anticipated car of the show. I only had room for 4, so I put in Slamology. That's like probably one of the biggest like car audio shows.
Yep.
Scraping the Coast, which is a cool one down in Biloxi.
Okay.
Lone Star Throwdown, I threw that in for myself because that's just in Dallas and it's easy for me to go to. It's
easy
SQ
for you
show.
To go to. Yep.
SQ Finals.
Which
one do you think won?
Slamology.
Right, but it only won 47%, so 36% is SQ Finals, and Scraping the Coast comes in at 13. So
yeah, I mean Slamology for sure. I mean,
yeah,
if I could go to one, that would probably be the one I'd go to, but it's just
I heard it's stupid hot there, even though it's in Indianapolis. Which is pretty far up north, but I heard it's because
it's murder it's murder in the summer up there, man.
Yeah.
I don't know, man. So I mean, going to a car show, like even when they were like, "So you gonna come to Austria?" I was like, "To do what now?"
Yeah.
Go to a car show, really?
Yeah.
I mean, I'm not gonna say no because it's like sounds really cool, but what are we gonna do for like the whole day? you know? Like that seems like a long time because like that seems like a long time. Let's walk through the parking lot one more time,
Oh, dude, when we went to the Sundown show, we basically were up there to do that, and we made one round. I was like, dude, it's hot. It's like legitimately hot. I didn't expect it to be hot like this, because I figured it was hotter down here, but it's about the same, really. So we done another round and then sit in the car in the air conditioning. And then we done one more. I was like, you know what? And at this point, we'd already been there like 2.5 hours. I said, Derek, what do you say we do one more round? And then we just dip, dude. We dip, go get some lunch. He's like, I was thinking the same thing. Like, we had way too.
I didn't even know if I would have made the one more round. What are you going to see that's different?
Right.
I mean, hey, look, it's the same cars doing the same thing.
Yeah.
Okay. And that's the problem. It's like I would love to go to one of these things, but if I have to fly and get a hotel and like spring break was cool because it was like a whole big thing and they had a vendor show floor and they had all this stuff going on. But if I'm just going to hang out in a parking lot,
I know I missed Spring Break Nationals.
yeah.
I never ever got to go, not once. So I totally missed out on it, and I would love to.
Yeah. Yeah. It apparently was the awesome thing to go to.
Yeah.
So,
But I'll be making more shows this year. I'm going to one in Shawnee, Oklahoma in July
nice.
17th, I think. So
Yeah.
that should be pretty fun.
No, I'm just like,
Yeah.
you know,
All the ones that are drivable, I'll try to make.
exactly. Because if you got to
Yeah.
fly, that adds a whole nother headache to the situation, you know.
Yeah.
But,
Like if I can get there in 2 hours and I got a free weekend, yeah, I'll try to make it.
but yeah, I don't know. I mean, this was just hard. 2 shows back to back like this was really, we just had, and then having so much stuff to do to be involved in them, it was like, it was tough, you know. And of course, last night I turned on the dyno video of all the Kenwood amplifiers.
Yeah, I haven't got to watch that yet either.
It's okay.
Yeah.
So some backstory on it. It was really never meant to be watched on YouTube in the way that you guys like, the way it was served up. Like we have individual videos that we're going to release at some point on each one of them. We did where we do like unboxings and take the bottoms off and do the conventional amp dyno. But what they wanted from us was just a video that had all of the amplifiers. It literally, that video just rotated in the background and just played all day. So that as you're walking up to the booth, you know, everyone knows what an amp dyno looks like. You can stand there and watch the 7-minute video that takes you through all of the power ratings on the amplifiers.
Right.
So that you get
well,
that
people want the screenshots so they can share them on Facebook and Instagram. Look, this amp is this. Yeah. And you got to have the cheap green screen with it. Yeah. And that makes it official.
So that's why that video existed. Then when I got it done, I was like, I'm going to just upload it to YouTube as a backup in case I needed it. But then I was like, you know what? I was like, we'll release it once the expo is over and we're free of the obligation because we just couldn't put it up until the show was over. Because it was one of the draws to the booth. And they're like, yeah, no, we kind of want people not to watch it on your channel because then they won't come to our booth. And I was like, no, that makes sense. So when we landed last night on the plane, I was like, release
Public.
the hounds.
Public.
But I thought for sure we were going to get hammered on it just because it's not a format that everyone is used to seeing amp dynos in. Because it's literally just, boom, 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 boom. It's like a dyno machine gun. But people loved it. I mean, a lot of people are like, dude, this is awesome. You should do it. You know, like, you should do this with everybody's. And I'm like, no, it was a lot of work.
You're just like, you're like Tony Montana at the final scene with the results.
Yeah, dude, it was tough, man. Like, because you're just like one amp dyno, as you know, setting up for one amp dyno is like, you know.
Right.
You know,
exactly. That's the hard part. Like doing the amp dynos is
easy.
It's easy. It's fast.
Yeah.
Like it's like getting the wires hooked up, and then it's a thing.
So what we did is, so we just all kind of had them laid out, and I would be filming the unboxing and the talking about the amplifier and taking the bottom off, and then Fernando would be wiring them up. And believe it or not, they took about as long for him to wire them up as it took me to talk about them because it's just so much wiring. And it's like, especially on a 5-channel where it's like, okay, we're going to do the sub.
Dude,
all right, so we got to hook up the load resistor to all 4 of the other channels. It's like, God damn it.
Yeah.
So it was fun. You know, I'm glad everyone liked it. I don't know if we'll ever do it like that again, but never say never. Because you know, everyone liked it. So, I mean, why not? I mean, if we get a company that comes out with 3 or 4 amplifiers and it's like, all right, well, we can just do these 3 or 4 amplifier amp dynos along with some unboxings and we can group it all together in the end like that. It might be something we do. I don't know.
Yeah.
You know, now that we know people liked it, it's like, oh, okay, well, shit.
Yeah, people
Why
like
not?
it. Do it. Give them more.
Yeah, give them what
So
they want.
let's end on this. Have you got to
Yeah,
listen to the JL Audio Tune Max Tune? Have you got to listen to a setup that's been done with it?
not yet, not yet.
So,
They were doing active training there.
oh, okay. So I have heard one. I've
But
heard 3.
a newer one though, because I think there's already been a software update.
So no, I heard like this is straight out of the box.
Right.
But I heard one that was. So I heard it this way. I heard the very first time was in Joseph Norton's audio control Volvo wagon, the one that just got wrecked.
Yeah, that's who was there. That's who we went out to dinner with, Joseph Norton.
Yeah. And so I got to hear the JL Audio Max tune.
Okay.
And then I got to hear his tweaks on that tune. And it's subtle and it's different, but it's like this thing gets you very, very close. It's pretty crazy.
Yeah. No, it was funny. So Joseph is who filled in for us because we went with Kenwood. So
yeah.
Apparently he's friends with Matthew. And so he's the one who filled in for him. He's a cool guy. He's a cool guy.
Yeah, he's a cool guy.
He gave me some shit. He's like, he's trying to tag me in the picture that they put up of us all eat. So there's a picture I think he put up on his page of us all eating at this shitty restaurant.
Yeah.
And he goes, "Oh, hey Dean, do you mind accepting me as a friend on Facebook right now if it's not too much problem?" And I'm like, "We're not friends?" He goes, "No, apparently you won't accept my friend request." And I'm like,
"Oh, dude.
Well, I mean, there must be a reason for it. I mean, hold on, let me check. Yeah, I don't know if I want to do that. And they're all just looking at me like, "Why are you giving him shit?" You know?
That's funny, dude.
Yeah, so because he wanted to tag me in the picture, and I was like, "Sorry, man, I don't accept just anybody."
And his shop is like an hour north of here.
Okay.
So yeah, I gotta visit his shop sometime. It'd be fun. Get some video and see what they're doing up there.
Yeah. So he made out okay with the car wreck. So I said, "Oh man, I'm sorry to hear about your car." He goes, "Oh, it's okay. I made out all right." I was like, "Oh, well, good for you then." You know,
time to rebuild.
So. Yeah, but it was funny. I was like, I didn't realize he was like you, a goddamn giant.
Yeah.
And I'm like, okay, why did you have the little pussy car? I mean, are you a fan of the vampire? Which I know he's not. Which I found out, because that was the shitty little car they drove in
on Twilight.
Yeah.
Is it really?
Yeah,
I didn't know that.
He had that shitty little car.
I remember it now that you say it, and that's how Twilight popped up, but it just never stuck out to me as that's what they drove.
So Tuesday night, him and Matthew, because they got done, the show, they didn't have a class to teach or anything like that, so they were done at like 5:00.
Yeah.
They went and watched Batman, the new Batman, which is 3 hours long.
I watched it too.
Did you?
I watched it too.
Damn it, man. Was it good?
We could talk about it. It's
not.
I have thoughts, but we will talk about it.
We will. I'll have to go see it. But anyway, so apparently, he was like, "I just can't see the Twilight guys, Batman," and I'm like, and he wasn't around when Matthew was telling me this because I would have gone, "Oh, you can't see him as Batman, but you can drive his fucking car." Okay, I see how it is. Whatever, lover boy.
You look sparkly out in the sun. I can.
Yeah, exactly. Oh my gosh,
dude.
But, so the next question you're gonna ask me is, what do we got coming up? And we got a normal week of videos coming up next week.
Oh man, they're gonna love you,
dude.
An install diaries.
Oh yeah. We got everything normal is coming next week. There's gonna be install diaries. There's gonna be everything that we want back. Yeah, Cedric from Harry Potter. Who cares? He died. All the things that you guys want will be back to normal next week. Oh, Dean, that was harsh. It's okay. So we're pretty excited. I'm super excited to have a normal couple weeks here. So for like the rest of this month, we will be back to normal. And I think what I'm going to do is for those 2 days that we're going to be gone in April is I'm going to try to get ahead so that I can just have regular videos in those slots. So we can stay on course until the end of April, in which case I'll be gone for that time there, so I don't know if I'll get that far ahead to where I'll have videos made up for that, but
Yeah.
I mean, I'll do my best.
Yeah.
I'll do my best so
So
that
that's
you
what's
guys.
coming up. Boring life,
Yeah.
anything? You gotta do a little
I've
bit?
there again. I've got videos recorded. We got the whole.
Yeah.
We did the half
The run.
marathon princess run.
Yeah.
We still got the foot golf video that we went and played foot golf. Went and
Nice.
watched them play foot golf. So and I think there's another one in there too. So I mean, we've got stuff recorded. I just, I haven't edited in a week and a half because we just didn't have any time. So
Dude.
I miss sitting at the couch and editing and a
Doing your
normal
normal
life.
stuff. Right.
Yeah. So next week back to normal. Don't worry, there will be news tomorrow morning. So at 9:00 on Dean and Fernandez Car Stereo Clips. If you guys are into the news, we'll be doing it.
Right.
That's
There's
all I
no
got.
side jack today because
apologize.
I didn't set it up, but we're gonna do it sometime. As soon as we watch our stuff and
We'll
see
do it
and
next week for sure.
yeah.
Yeah.
But so check this out.
Check
I
this
have
out.
a video coming out this week of an amp dyno, but there's a twist because me and Derek bought the same amp, unbeknownst to us.
Ooh.
So we're testing it 2 different ways, and we're releasing the video at the same exact time. The
That
videos
is so gay.
on Sunday. Yeah.
Are you guys tagging each other in the videos so that people that watch yours know to go watch his and vice
Yeah,
versa?
dude. That's first day of YouTube school. Come on.
I'm sorry, I never went to school.
Yeah. You weren't in class. Do you get the mailers every month?
No.
Where they tell the inside secrets? Oh
No,
man.
I don't.
We gotta
get
get you signed up. Yeah, we gotta get
No,
you
I
signed
don't get any of that shit. That just goes in my junk folder.
Yeah.
They're like, screw that guy. He's never done any of that crap. I don't even know.
He
how
doesn't
he's a
listen to
YouTuber.
anything we say.
No. Dean does need some sleep. Dean is going to hang up with this, edit the news show, and go to bed.
Yeah,
There's no
me too.
question about that.
I'm tired tonight. Believe it or not, I am tired tonight. I don't know why. Been tired all week. And I don't have the Rona. I don't think.
No, I'm just tired because, well, hell, we didn't sleep all week, but
Yeah.
So, it's funny. Got up every morning at 6:00. Every morning, got up at 6:00. No problem. Went to bed every night. It was between 2 and 3 o'clock. And this morning, I had to get up at 8 o'clock, and I couldn't get out of bed to save my life. I was like, I'm not getting up.
Well, the bill comes due. At some point, the bill comes due. It always does.
Yeah, we come back to a Jeep.
Yeah. Nice.
If anybody
could have been an F-150.
I would have been fine either way. I didn't care. But if you guys didn't get an opportunity to watch our Instagram today, that we did like 6 o'clock ish, go back and watch it because this Jeep was a tragedy. It was just a tragedy.
It was kind of like a 911 situation going.
Yeah, it was pretty bad. To answer the question, how many T's did I have, Bobby? I believe I had 2 because I kept forgetting. Like the only place that had them was the hotel. And so I got like 2 at the hotel at different times. And then I just kept forgetting to get it. And we wanted to do what we did at Knowledge Fest, like stop at a Walmart or a Pickwick or some shit like that and get a bunch.
Right.
But the closest gas station was like 5 miles away. It's like when I tell you there was nothing around this hotel, It sucked.
It sounds like a cult situation going on. You guys were locked in.
We were locked in. Yeah, it sucked. And unless you knew somebody with a car, which I did, but it was like I just kept, I was like, I didn't want to bother anybody, I guess. I don't know. We'll see. Next year we'll figure this shit out.
Uber,
but
Uber and almost die every time.
No, I'll ask one of the other guys. Be like, all right, you got a car? Yeah, we're going to a gas station. Come on, let's go.
Yeah.
Are you posting a full install video of the DSP tuned gray Accord? No, we're not posting any video on the Accord. We've done enough Accords, and there's nothing that we've done different to that Accord that we wanted to share with people. Plus, we just didn't have time to film it, so that's kind of why we did the live part where we just filmed the tuning part live. Was to throw a bone out there for people. Plus, it was a really good resource for people that want to kind of understand how to tune the audio control.
Yeah.
It was pretty thorough. I mean, we didn't go real deep, but it was pretty nice. Walmart delivery. That's not a bad idea, but I don't even think there was a Walmart close enough to deliver. Like, I think the closest one's like 10 miles away. I don't know what the delivery zone though is, but Robert, that's a great idea, and I didn't even think about that. Damn it! So
there you go. Hey, Uber Eats, they deliver groceries and stuff too. So there you go.
Yeah. So there again, I don't know how they're going to run next year. I don't know if they're going to allow consumers again because most of the manufacturers didn't realize there was like fans and consumers there.
Yeah.
I call them consumers, but the reality is they're fans.
Right.
So I'm going to call them fans. They didn't realize that there was fans there because Brian didn't go into real deep, like, hey, this is why we don't want you guys to sell here. This is more of an expo where we want you to just talk about stuff.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like, oh,
oopsie.
Minor oversight.
All right, Dean. Tell these guys bye.
You guys have a great night. We'll see you on the same bat.